supervision of the Anawim, as you already know that.
Yeah, we have.
Steve Kimes is the pastor that lives in St. John's. He has a home where he and his wife open it. They have 6 or 7 homeless people living with them all the time. They're very good people. They're very loving people. But he has a heart that's huge for the homeless people, and I think he tends to have a little bit of blind spot when it comes to seeing the harm that they do when they're unsupervised or when they aren't held accountable. That's why I think their accountability needs to be had. There needs to be more people there, mature people, not homeless people that have been developed into supervisors, which is what he's done. I mean, that's fine on a lower level, and they're fine to have people step in to help when there's arguments going on. We used to say, Jimmy, get in there between them and stuff, so we didn't have to do that. He did that. But we had somebody there that was telling somebody it had to be done. And we have, how many people do you have at the church? 16?
Yeah, 15 to
So I'm not,
15 to 16
It takes 15 to 20 adults. It's a men and women. No,
Yes.
these are church members. These are members from First Baptist Church,
Yeah, volunteer
from
staff.
Grace, from
Abundant
Abundant
Life.
Life, Grace. We've all recruited people to surrounding churches to come help us. And they need to do more of that at Anawim, but it's a community that you folks live in. It would be a blessing if some of you, especially some of you men, would be willing to go and volunteer an evening every 2 weeks or something like that, and be there and monitor things. Now, there are people around that area all day, all hours, and I'm not certain how to solve that problem other than more police presence when things get out of hand.
And let me make sure I get two in the back though, so I don't forget about
I
it.
concur with the gentleman who just spoke. It's up to us as a community to come up with solutions as far as homeless population and people. Many people are like 1 or 2 paychecks away from being homeless. All over the state. And we like to go out. And it's for us, the rest of us to help those people. One of the things as far as bicyclists, they're going to be, we're trying to get a bike through humanity. I happen to belong with that company. We volunteer there, fixing bikes, so that they're not having to be worked on in residential areas. You go there and work on the bikes and help people fix their bikes and do what they need to do so they have transportation. We need to find places that they can move. There's all these things. I know that we're working on trying to get shelters for these people too. I worked with mental health and Southeast Mental Health, 20 plus years ago, and now with community college as a teacher. The problem is no different from now as it was then. The only difference is that there's more people that are in need, and that's going to continue. I don't see the need going down, and it is up to all of us to step in and volunteer and do what we can to help, so that we're part of the solution and not part of the problem. Because we also, when that's happening, we're part of that problem too. And so, go up and find out which people can help you, and do whatever you can. Because Steve said he follows all the rules. He's current on all the, actually I want to quote him, but he has all the permits he needs. So he's doing what he can. Maybe we need to look at ourselves and figure out what we can do to help.
So I hear you talking more about the community involvement and volunteers and the community coming together to help these people. For you, that's really important.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay. And then I saw your hand and then in the back.
I'd like to know what the city of Gresham budget is for low-income housing and a bud-park type of facility that would provide services from the city to this population.
And do that, Kathy or Catherine, do either of you know?
I didn't hear the question.
So she had asked, what is the city of Gresham's budget for low-income housing? Is that right? What's the city of Gresham's budget for low-income housing?
It is something we could try to find out.
That's something that you can go find out?
I know that the city has just done a homeless count, and I know that are very aware of the problem. And part of this, I think, will give them some information. I'll see if I can find out who to talk to.
Yeah,
We give-
because here we have the community trying to make do with what we can with volunteers and all, when it's the city or the government ought to be, I think, taking care of some of this problem.
I do
And
know-
I'm really concerned that Gresham will provide housing for 10 or 20 people when there's 1,000 people.
I know that the mayor is working to hold Multnomah County and Portland and the state to look more towards Gresham and get more services and monies out here. So I'll see who I can contact or find out who would know that.
I can give you a really quick answer to that too. My name is John Biltzel. I'm the land use chair
Can't
from
hear.
Rockwood, and I'm also the
I can't hear.
I'm the land use chair for Rockwood, and I'm also the Coalition of Neighborhoods vice president. And the people you really are thinking about is not so much the city of Gresham, it's more Home Forward that is providing low-cost housing benefits for people. Do you know Home Forward, the old housing authority of Portland?
Yeah,
And-
and that's, I understand that's a 501c3 organization?
No, that's part of a federal program,
Oh,
really.
okay.
And there are other parts of federal programs that Gresham works with to get money for low-income housing, and they help organizations like Human Solutions. They also do things like build amenities like the downtown fountain in downtown Gresham, in the Arts Plaza. So that's where some of the low-income housing dollars are going to, those kinds of housing situations. But I think you're right, though. You do need to get some more information, and I think your president can help you get that for your next meeting.
And just for full disclosure, John's also a volunteer mediator in East Metro Mediation. I just like to be transparent.
That's true, too. Sorry, I
so
should
you
have
don't
said that
think
as
we
well.
planted him.
I'm also on the West Gresham Urban Renewal Committee, so.
There you go. The gentleman in the bald cap.
Just have a question. When somebody, we had a meeting a year ago, maybe even longer, Steve had a meeting at his church, and he told us, hey, it's all gonna be taken care of, it's all gonna be taken care of, it's all gonna be taken care of. The people that are drinking outside of the church, leaving their bottles out there, going back into the church, doing whatever, coming back out, drinking some more, sticking in the bushes, people that are doing the drugs, going over the other side of the fence, drinking, doing their drugs, coming back over, having a nice day at the church, socializing, going back over there, doing their drugs and drinking some more. Kids are over there. It's a dangerous situation for anybody in that park. It's cussing and swearing and drinking and whatever. So now, how many times do you let this person do that and keep coming back and not saying a word? They have to know that on the other side of the fence, they're cussing, swearing, and drinking, and coming right back onto the property. My guess would be 90% of the people that go into that church and use the facilities there, that's what it is. Because it's just never ending, screaming, yelling, guys out in the middle of the street, nighttime, no shirt on, no shoes, screaming, yelling. There's something wrong with the guy. Is he mentally disturbed? Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know what to do. But to keep him there and let him keep coming back and screaming and yelling and waking my family up every couple nights of the week, there's something not fair there. And Steve has known it, and there's nothing been done for the last, since we had that meeting like a year and a half ago. There's nothing been done about it until someone got a hold of the owner of the property, I think, and said, hey, there's a flim flam going on here. You're not being told the whole truth, that there is no supervision over there. The people do whatever they darn well want to do. They're drinking And so I think the owner finally had something to say and said, hey, straighten it up, get it straight. And the police started showing up quite often. So, I have, for somebody to say I have something against homeless people or mentally, my son is bipolar schizophrenic. He's living out on the streets. Because he'll come home and tear the place up, and it's, no, you're out of here. You want to obey the rules, then you will obey the rules and everything's fine. But if I keep telling him, hey, you don't have to obey the rules, then game's over.
So it sounds like this hits close to home for you.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And your concern is that there's no action being taken. When they break the rules, nobody's
No action.
holding them to it, there's no action being taken.
No.
It just happens again.
And to talk to, these times, I talked to him like a year and a half ago. When I left that meeting, I knew he was blowing smoke at me. I mean, it was just, I know nothing's gonna happen here. It's so simple.
Hold that thought. I have you, and then I have you in the back there.
I just think what needs to be put on that list too is, if there's registered sex offenders there, when they're right by a school, it needs to be put on that list.
Registered sex offenders.
That's kind of breaking that.
Especially when they're shooting up right in a schoolyard, yeah.
Supposed to be
It's a
500
dangerous
feet, 500
situation.
feet from a school.
Yeah.
They're right there for everybody.
Start with the work.
Have one instead of five.
Services in this community. I want to first reinforce what I've heard a couple people say, to run a shelter and mitigate and minimize some of the impact that will be low as family. There's some light there. It is possible with some structure and resources. I don't know if it's missing. I don't know the situation on that, but I'll throw that into the ring. Then secondly, if there are children at this particular location, you all should know, and they should know that we have run the family, Multnomah County, no turn-away shelter for families. So up until June this year, it will begin to be open year-round, starting November 1st of next year. So if there are kids, we can move them to a place where they will be more secure and safe.
Yeah.
Just before you, we have one back here, and then
Yeah, I run the homeless shelter along with these people here and at least 20 other adults and staff. We're across from West Gresham Grade School. And this is our 5th year. And in the beginning, yeah, we had lots of problems, like Anna was at the sanctuary. And it was, we just needed more and more volunteers. And finally this year, I mean, we're not all from the same church, but finally this year we had enough come on board that it's gone so smoothly, and basically because we've got a code of conduct, and it is,
That's what's needed.
it's enforced again, it's 0 tolerance.
Yeah.
And I can pass this around, and I mean, we enforce it, if somebody has one time, the second time they're out, and they know that. And these people are not bad people, and most of them do have mental problems. And we're not gonna stop the homelessness, it's just not gonna happen. But, you know, we can make it easier on the neighborhood and on the homeless people and the volunteers if more people step in. And it was a struggle in the beginning, getting people to help out, but 5 years later, we're like a family now, and the volunteers interact with the homeless, and they respect us, and we respect them. And I think this has been a big, big part. So, would you like me to pass that around?
if you would like to.
Sure.
Please do.
Sure, you can do that,
Can
and
you email that, please? And that's one of the tools we have. We have 100 people in our shelter every day. We have a code of conduct, we have a code of conduct we follow.
oh yeah, it makes a big difference.
It's a matter of respecting what you're being given. Yeah.
I wanna make sure we get to this gentleman here.
Yeah, and I think the main issue is just like the appropriate, well, I guess we don't really know what the sanctuary is, you know, the way it's being run now, it's not an appropriate place for it at all, you know. To have, you know, that many because it's not families in there. There aren't families. It's young men mostly, and you know, it seems the contact that I've had with most of them, they seem like they're drug addicts, alcoholics, and you know, and they aren't it doesn't seem like they're getting any treatment there. They're just being, you know, warehoused there and let loose in the neighborhood. It's a neighborhood, you know. It's not.
No respect for the neighborhood they're living in.
So I'm hearing location as an issue for you, but the
Yeah.
location of the place is also a problem, and it's in
Correct.
proximity to
Yeah.
schools, I think I heard. Okay, I'm seeing some of the same hands. Let me get to somebody who hasn't spoken yet.
Quick question. Can we make them change? I mean, if this guy's running it, and this is the way he's running it, the city step in and say, you have to do this, you
Is he
have to do
qualified,
that.
is he qualified to run it? That's what I'd like to know.
Yeah. If he's not calling it a shelter and these are supposed members that are coming there, I mean, at what point can somebody step in and say this is wrong and you have to move, or it's just a waste of time?
So the question for those of you in the back was, can we make him change? Can the city step in? Can somebody step in and say, you're not doing it right? Can you make a change, or is this a waste of time? Is that right? And I would even turn that over to the two neighborhood presidents, if you have something to say about that.
I think the neighbors do have a say in what goes on in your neighborhood. And a successful program, you know, a successful program that's truly helping does have structure, there's guidelines, there's liability insurance, there's all sorts of things that you have to
I understand that,
And-
but my question is, does he want that?
He doesn't own the property, and
Living there free.
I've gotten the impression from some things from the city that the people, the church, the Mennonite church that owns the property truly want to help, truly want a good program. They do not want their neighbors upset, and they don't want everything just to fall apart. They've run an outreach there for a long time, not so much to homeless. I mean, I went and got food boxes 20 years ago from the Red Barn when I was going through a divorce. They have run a really good program there. It's just now things have gotten out of control. Their concern is that they're not going to be allowed to do this ministry. And so I feel that they're, you know, they have good hearts. Now it's up to us as a neighborhood saying, okay, so we have this. These are how we see our guidelines of what we accept and how we see it working. And I think
Is it working?
it isn't working because none of these things on the list have, other places that people here who volunteer, including myself, works because there's been some structured guidelines, volunteers, police presence.
How long has the owner been aware that this is an issue? And why are they not stepping in and removing it?
That's why we've been quiet for 3 months, or 2 months, is because they just became aware.
An assessment of whether it's working might be how many people have starved to death, how many people have died from exposure.
Well, how many
Well,
children
some of them
have
don't want-
been exposed to unnecessary things?
That's not their mission.
Before, 'cause I see a hand up, hold on, I see a hand up, I see a couple hands up. Before I hear from people who've already spoken, is there somebody that has not spoken yet that would like to add their issue? I see one right here, okay.
I've been listening to all of you, and first of all, I'm here because I live in Rockwood. I've lived here for 4 years. I moved here from Brentwood, Darlington, so any of you who know that area, it's Felony Flats, 4th generation criminals. In moving to Rockwood, one of the first neighborhood association meetings, I heard a statistic that I thought was really alarming. That's something I want you guys to sort of process through also. Which is that 75% of the families in this neighborhood run out of money before the end of the month. And so you would really have a double dynamic here. You've got a chronic poverty issue, and you've got a homeless issue, and they are tied. There's no way that they're not. So, and someone earlier mentioned we're just a paycheck or two away from homelessness ourselves. That is really true. My name is Rain. I'm part of a group called Free Hot Soup that I think some people might have the misguided misguided idea that free hot soup and Anawim are the same. They are not. They're two different things. My group comes in and helps Anawim. And so my group is predominantly female. I myself am chronically disabled. And I can tell you for a fact that my group and myself would never step foot on Anawim if we did not feel safe at all times. I have been there helping them for months and months now. I have never personally experienced anything of what any of you have said tonight. So to me, that's really interesting. And I have been there during scheduled times and just pop-in times. So it's not like I'm always coming in a predictable pattern, or my people are always coming in a predictable pattern. A lot of these folks, I know their names. I go out doing what we call mobile service, so I see them not just at Anawim, I see them out in our community here. I know who they are. I kind of, I'm not trained in dealing with people that are mental health issues or whatever, that kind of stuff. But I just have a different kind of approach that I use that seems to be working very well with them. So when I heard somebody say, and I can't remember who it was, that one thing that's needed is for people in the neighborhood to really step up and get involved, I honest to God tell you that that's a true thing. And the very first thing that you should do, just as you would expect yourself, is to start with what is that person's name. Don't treat them institutionally as some big chronic problem and expect that that barrier is going to get it broken down that way, because it's not. You have to treat them the same way that you want, with respect and dignity, if you want them to respond in kind. And I'm telling you, every single one of them respect me. Every single one of them respect the other people that are coming. We feed them too. We help Steve in that way. We bring them clothes. We bring them toiletries. This kind of stuff. We just spend a little time with them, offer them some hope. You have to understand that when it comes to homeless people, they're disconnected. They're completely disconnected. And I'll give you an example. Another facility that we serve at is Clackamas Service Center. Okay, my group comes in there and serves them too, and I know the names of the people that come through there as well. And it's very challenging to learn everybody's names, but we make this effort. And making this effort builds the respect and trust between us. And some really amazing things that you would not believe that I can prove, because I have some of them on film, happen because of this trust. That are the polar opposite of what you're all describing today. So if you want to change, I'm going to say, myself, I'm available to help in any way, spearhead some of this change if people are going to be serious about stepping up as a community.
Let me make sure I understand everything you said. So you offer a program that works.
It's not a program, it's just respect.
The soup, it was hot.
Our group is just called Free Hot Soup. We're not even an organization. We're just a bunch of people on Facebook that said, you know what, there's gaps in our community. People need help that agencies can't seem to do. So we are the Band-Aid to step up as a community and just help. That's all we do.
Thank you for helping me understand that.
Yeah.
And so what you're really saying is how important it is to treat these people as people with respect. And then
Regardless
some
of their
of them.
mental state. Because they will respond to you.
And will you be available after the meeting if
Yes, I
anyone's
will.
interested in learning
Definitely.
more? Yes.
I live directly across the street from this place, and for years now, I've been woken up multiple nights a week. If you want to see it in action, well, now I'm the one who made the phone call to the woman who's kind of in charge of the place, because I had it. I had it. One last time, and I tried to reach out to this woman, but she wanted in my backyard to go swimming in my pool, and I'm going, you can't go swimming in my pool. Do you need some help? May I speak with you? May I get you something? Do you need some food? I've introduced myself. I shook her hand. Then she goes to our neighbor's house and sits down and starts smoking up a pipe. And so she called the police. My neighbor did. And I said, I don't want her arrested. I just want her to understand that this is private property, And I've offered blankets, and I've gotten to know people. And My house has been broken into. My front door was knocked down and we were burglarized. Personal stuff was taken out of my home. Okay, this is stuff that's happening, and if you don't think it is, then come sleep on my front porch and see it, because it is. And I'm not against, I got a heart like Steve, huge. I want to get to know every single person and help if I can. But at the same time, where is my 16-year-old daughter's rights? She was told not to walk through that schoolyard anymore because there are people that are sexual predators. And I'm thinking, she's done this since she was a little girl. Why should our rights go away? You know? Why should those rights go away?
So, more concerns about safety and about your neighborhood and your community being able to feel
Us being
like
vandalized, us being, you know, and not that I think all of them are able to, I think that I would like to know their hearts and be able to assist them. But then if they're on things, mind-altering drugs and things that they're not in their right mind, we're at risk, you know, and my family is at risk.
And I see 2 hands that we've heard from. Is there anybody else who we have not heard from yet? Anyone that we have not heard from yet that would like to say something? Okay, so we need to
Open up the windows, get some air in here.
There is no windows. The fact that there are a lot of people who are 1 or 2 paychecks away from being homeless, and those people, we all feel sorry for them, and 90% of them can get help and accept help to a certain degree. We also have a very large number of people out there who choose to be drug addicts, who choose to be alcoholics, who choose to be on the street. They refuse help because they won't follow the rules of the organizations that will give it to them. I know that for a fact. I spoke with one. I'm a Vietnam vet. I talked to a Vietnam vet on the side of the street. I said, why don't you get help? And he says, they want me to follow the rules. They want him to stop drinking. They want him to be in by curfew. They want him to stop his habit. They want to help him, but he wants to continue to be on the street. If you want to continue to be on the street with that attitude and do your drugs, etc., 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 stay out of my neighborhood.
Not in my backyard.
And so just that I understand what you're saying is that part of the rules, and that if they're breaking the rules, they need to be out?
Yeah.
Is that like, okay, and is that captured? Or is there something else that we should add to the list?
I think a large part of the problem is they choose to be there, and they will choose to be where they want to be. In anybody's neighborhood, they can be.
But see, now you're talking neighborhood, we're talking facility.
Before you get there, I had two hands up.
Neighborhood.
So, I have 2 hands up, so.
I'd like to know, does he have a ministry? Because since the last 3 weeks or 4 weeks, there's no ministry going on over there when the homeless are gone.
I can tell you.
There
How many?
is on
They
Sunday
are
night.
shut down for grant writing, that's why.
Okay, because is he a minister?
They work conducting meetings on Sunday nights.
Well, they're not all the way shut down because they're providing showers on Fridays still. So they're not all the way shut down.
They're doing garden work.
They've got music playing on Sunday.
Distributing, they are shut down.
So that I understand your concern is about whether or not they're operating.
Is there a ministry? Is he just using it as a name? You know, to be able to stay there and get a tax write-off, no taxes. That's what I'd like to know.
So you want to make sure that he's using it for the correct
If he's a licensed
purposes.
minister
Okay, so licensed.
or ordained minister.
I can address some of those questions. First of all, yes, he's a licensed minister. Anna Wim has a 401c, whatever it is, because I donate some money to them, and I get that tax write-off. It's not a question of that. But the facility, by and large, is shut down right now, but they're active, I think, on Wednesday afternoons